Welcome to the Iron Sharpening Iron Show. I'm your man, Big Jack. This is where we prove we are stronger together, that if each one would reach one, we can all grow and glow. And I'm super excited today because I got my man Walt Talks with me. And the other part is it's been a very interesting day because I was able to watch the Open earlier today. And a person I've never seen or even heard of won the Open. And I'm like, wait, where did this guy come from? And then I think Spain won the World Cup. So that was different too. So that's pretty cool. So what's going on? How you doing, Walt?
Man, I'm good. Who won the Open?
Ryan something. Ryan
the guy that went 10 under yesterday, 8 under yesterday.
Yeah.
Okay, man. He was balling, man. He was doing his thing,
Ryan
man.
Fox. Ryan Fox was the Open winner. And I like, who is Fox and where he come from? I know he's from New Zealand. But I know they said prior to this, he hadn't finished higher than 16.
Yeah. And
all of a sudden he's, so hey, congratulations to Ryan Fox and congratulations to Spain on winning the World Cup today. They just finished probably about an hour, not even an hour ago. They just finished it up.
Who did they beat?
Argentina.
That's Messi, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, and the cool thing about that was 18 years ago, Messi took a photo with a kid. The kid's parent had entered him, the kid at birth in a contest, and it was to be in a photo with Messi. So this kid is in a bathtub, and Messi is holding his kid in the bathtub. Where the kid is on Spain's team now, the number one player for Spain was in that picture. So 18 years in the making to have them on the stage at the same time.
Wow.
That was pretty cool. So and I can't even remember his name. So I'm really bad with the names of the players and all.
Okay.
But at the same time, it was good. It was the first time that they did a halftime show for the World Cup. So we've never done that before.
Sakara or somebody, right?
Well, I know I'd seen Madonna and Justin Bieber and some other people that was out there. So they did a lot this time that they've never done before. And then being in North America was pretty cool, having Canada and Mexico as well as the United States host the World Cup, and that was pretty cool. So it was all good. It was a good one. It was a good one. But hey, we got a good show today. And because I wasn't 100% sure what your status was going to be and had to make sure that I had some coverage, I had to pull one out. So let's get my man up on the stage so we see who our guest host today will be, our special guest host. And let's bring him up to the stage. Let's bring my man up. Boom. Uncle Funk. What's up, bro?
How you doing? How you doing?
What's going on?
Man.
Runner up here, runner up. How you doing?
Hey, man. Hey, look, man. I'm your understudy.
Oh,
yeah, let me get out the way. I don't want you to trip me off the stage, man. Look, I'm gonna let you do your thing, man.
No comparison, man. No comparison.
Man, how you doing, sir? Good to see you, man. Everything good?
Man, I can't complain. I really can't. Busy, all in good ways, though.
There you go.
All everything is moving forward for me. So, I would be if I could come up with some stuff, but I'd be lying.
Man, progress is always good, man. So that's great.
It would be petty. It'd be petty. Anything I have to bring up is petty, to be honest with you.
That's right. You're not a petty guy. I know that for a fact.
Yeah,
without a doubt.
Yeah.
So look, check it out, fellas. We got a wonderful guest that's going to be on with us today. I'm looking forward to having him on the show. But I got a question to ask you before we get him up on the stage, because this is something that we know is a more like a saying now and a cliche to some. But do you remember where you were during 9/11? 9/11, when the planes hit the towers, when the plane hit the Pentagon, and then the one, of course, that went down in Pennsylvania. But do you remember what you were doing at that time? Do you remember where you were?
Yes.
And so that's a thought I want you to hold, because our guest is going to take us somewhere down that journey as well. and I'm looking forward to getting him up on the stage. So if y'all ready, I'm gonna get him up here because I want to kick this conversation off.
Okay.
So y'all ready?
Let's go.
I need. We ready? We good to go?
Let's get it.
All right, let's get him up on the stage. Let's go. Oh, my man, Craig. How you doing, sir?
What's up?
What's up? What's up? Now, welcome to the Iron Sharpening Iron Show. I'm your man, Big Jack. It's my man, Walt Talks and Aqua Funk. Normally, we don't have, we're not double teaming, but I heard you were so strong, we're going to have to come direct on you, man.
Hey, man, say we needed help. We needed help calling reinforcements.
I had to call in. For sure. So, Craig, this is, again, Iron Sharpening Iron Show, and we are live on YouTube. We're live on Facebook, live on Twitch. And I hear some banging. I'm not sure where it's coming from, but I'm hearing banging, but hopefully we'll stop that. But it's all good. It's all good. But I just want to know, again, we're live. This is a safe place for you. And this is a chance for you to tell your story to us and let us know. So I'm going to ask you, for all those who are watching right now, and welcome to everyone's watching, make sure that if you're out there, you're hitting that like button, hitting the subscribe button, and following not just this channel or this show, but all the shows that come out of the Iron Sharpening Iron universe. But Craig, for all those who are watching, can you introduce yourself to us, please?
Sure. My name is Craig Sikowski, and I always thought I was going to get famous as something I did in business, as a startup or something like that. And I ended up getting a lot of attention as a 9/11 volunteer that developed lung cancer. And as the story progressed, ended up losing everything in the United States, and I had to go to Merida, Mexico to get treatment because the system, the World Trade Center Health Program, was just abysmal. And I'm going around the United States talking about cancer and mental health awareness for the 25th anniversary of September 11th.
Wow. It's hard to believe that we're at 25 years. It don't seem like it's been that long. And you said you was a volunteer. So how did that work? How did you end up being a volunteer for 9/11?
So I've always been a carpenter and a mason my whole life. And I was working on 2 houses downtown Jersey City. And I was coming off my stoop one day, and I was walking out, and one of the towers was on fire. So I ran around a corner to get my fiance at the time, because we were moving down to Florida the next month in October to get married. And I told her to grab her camera equipment, and we went down to the river. And it was pure, as you can tell, pure pandemonium and chaos. And as we were watching, the first tower fell. And she's got all of these pictures, man, of this thing coming down. And, the cops were telling everybody to get back because nobody really knew what was going to happen, right? And we ended up going to the street that was by Liberty State Park, going into Liberty State Park, and that's when a second tower fell. And about, a half hour later or an hour later, people started coming off the boats, and they were all disheveled and covered in dust and everything. And I realized that I needed to get there because I was in construction my whole life. And I ended up going for 2 days. And long story short, in 2012, I ended up with pneumonia and a collapsed lung 11 years later. And then that's where the story started to get wild. I was diagnosed with a malignant tumor in my chest in 2017. And the doctor that told me in front of my 11-year-old daughter. And my first thought was to throat punch him. And that's where I started becoming a patient advocate for, all the things that are wrong with the sick care system in the United States. I've had a plethora of surgeries since 2017. And it's been like a living hell and a nightmare. And just being challenged by the healthcare system is something that I see every day. And being volunteers, we're not associated to any companies or any organizations that give us disability or anything like that. And we ended up, going bankrupt, losing everything. And I'm here to tell my story.
Wow. So again, like I say, you're seeing the chaos is down there. You're seeing the damage. You're going in to to help, give assistance, and you end up becoming, I guess, a victim yourself in that during that time. So how long were you there? I mean, because I'm sitting there like, it wasn't from day one. It was, how long did it, was you working there for this thing to take its hold or take toll of you?
Well, when I ended up getting cancer, I was told you only had to be there 4 hours of the first 5 days. And I was there 2 days of the first 5 days. I had gone over with a Tyvek suit and a respirator clogged in like 10 minutes. I was on a bucket brigade, and going across, it took 2 days to get across because everything was closed. And the first day that we tried to go over, the Coast Guard turned us around at Battery Park. And it was profound because as we were turning around, I saw a baby carriage sitting in the park, and I was just like, wow, I wonder what, like, whoever was navigating that baby carriage, what they were thinking about as they took the baby and ran. And then the day after that, like I said, I went back with the Tyvek suit and a respirator, and as people were coming off the boats, I took one of the guys' hats, construction hard hat, and another guy, I took his vest because they weren't going to need it anymore. And then in the process, a guy said, look, you over there, get on the boat. And I was on this boat, and I couldn't figure out what all the buckets were for, man. I mean, just buckets. And I got off on the other side, and I carried a whole bunch of buckets and just had people point and tell me where to go. And I ended up taking these buckets, and I couldn't see in front of me, but I could see to the side, left and right side. And I took the buckets, and I passed the restaurant where the guys are hanging out, smoking cigarettes. It was really like, it was a little hard to understand. You're walking, and the girders are hanging off, ready to like fall. And I walked by this one room, and it was just nothing but bags. I didn't even want to know what were in the bags. And I walked out, and there was a knee wall that I had to climb over. And you could see, like, it was light. And I climbed over, and I put my buckets down, and I just looked, man. And it was an unbelievable feeling to see, like, squash fire trucks and police cars. And I started to think, like, what am I actually doing here, man? Because this is crazy. And just as I was having that thought, an alarm went off, and then all I heard was run. And we all started, like guys just started running around this building and heading back to the river, and ended up the front facade of the building collapsed on the buckets that I just put down. That was my introduction to 9/11.
Oh, wow. That's, I mean, a lot of people, I've never actually talked to anyone who was at ground zero during the event, after the event. So everything I'm listening to you now, and I'm more intrigued because of the fact that you're telling me a part of the story that I didn't see on the news or didn't hear in a story or in a news story or whatever. So help me understand the buckets. I mean, what is the, I can assume, but I don't want to assume. So what is the buckets for, and what's going on with the buckets?
Well, it was a bucket brigade. So, you're in this line, and the guy in front is just putting whatever he can in the buckets and passing them back. Okay. And then when he gets burnt out, he goes into the back, and another guy moves up. And it was like that for just endless line. And, I got up there, and, I did my thing. And one of the things was like, you get in this bucket, and you're putting things in buckets, and, you're trying to, like, understand what you're putting in the buckets, because there's like little pieces of everything, and just like, we needed to clean everything up so the machines can come in, because it's just piles of just debris everywhere. And it took a long time to get over that. It really did, because I saw stuff that I never thought anybody could ever do to somebody. And there was just a lot of camaraderie, man. And I'm sure, as we were talking before, Aquafunk, some of the craziest jokes you ever heard are in the times of crisis and trying to keep your shit together and wired tight. And I don't say I'm glad, but it was an experience in my life. And I didn't think it would come back to haunt me because, like I said, I was leaving the next month to get married, and I never looked back. And it wasn't until 2012 when I started to hear about, like these lawyers and you need to talk to these guys because people are developing cancers. And I was only there for 2 days. And then I started to find out you only had to be there 4 hours in the first 5 days. And I was there and I hit the wrong lotto.
Wow, man, that's so what most people will be upset that they even took the time to volunteer when you find out you got something wrong. How did you feel about that? What life lesson did you get out of that as far as not that we want it to happen again, but that would be like, I'm never going to do that again. I'm never going to help somebody out or whatever. Did you have that mindset?
Nah, I do it again. People talk about 9/11 and they're like, oh, that must have been like the most horrifying experience of your life. And it was like, nah, man, that was part of my life. I was molested as a kid. I was a drug addict in my teens. I was homeless. I was divorced, bankrupt. I've lost businesses, houses, cars. So it was just part of the experience. And what I've come to realize is like the human mind is resilient in a way where you can literally get over anything. So you could take somebody with catastrophic events and things that happen to them, and they can alchemize everything in this world, And I started studying something called epigenetics and develop heart and brain coherence for yourself. And it was when I had a 9/11 medical exam, a yearly medical exam. It was 2 years, I think 2.5 years after I had my nine-hour surgery to remove my mid and lower lobe of my right lung, where I had my arm extended out for 9 hours and my nerve deadened. And I woke up with something called Saturday night palsy, where it took me a long time to learn how to use my arm again because of the nerve. And I just lost my train of thought. I just had a brain fart, man.
Yeah, it's all good. I know we're trying to remember. I mean, a lot of stuff that you had to go through, and I don't want to sit there and keep harking on this time of it because I'm more like I'm intrigued. But at the same time, I remember. I mean, in fact, that's it when I even asked Aqua Funk and I had small talks. Do you remember where you were during that time? And I know I don't know because I've never had to ask that question to either one of you. But Aqua, you remember what you were doing during that time?
I know exactly what I was doing. I was on my way to a job interview. I was dressing up, had my tie on, looking sharp, and had a TV on while I'm getting ready. My wife at the time, she had already gone to her job because I had recently got out of the Army. And I kept hearing this in the background while I'm getting ready, in the mirror and stuff. I was like, what the hell? I kept hearing, the World Trade Center. I was born in Brooklyn. I've been there, I just couldn't. I just sat in front of the TV. I couldn't move. Didn't go to the job interview. Just sat there, I remember exactly where I was.
Right. Wow.
Yeah.
And so now, Craig, like I say, I knew Aqua's from New York because I knew that he, that probably been different for him. And you were saying as a volunteer, there's no workers' comp or anything like that. So I guess I'm lost. What happens? I mean, how did your job? How did your? I mean, was your contractor?
Yeah, I was a real estate investor, and we started. It was taking a toll originally because I was in Mexico at the time when I had my collapsed lobe and pneumonia. So it was stuff that I had to lay out of pocket. And then it was 2015. I moved back to the United States to launch my speaking career. I used to speak before at convention centers. And I went to go back to the United States to launch my book and my speaking career. And I ended up battling for the next 10 years lung cancer. And the surgeries and procedures for lung cancer. And I had a whole bunch of knee surgeries. 2020, it seemed like I was in a surgery every month and a procedure in the middle. And it was just taking a toll on him. It was taking a toll on us financially. And then I heard about the Victims Compensation Fund, which I did get. However, that being said, it's they give you $250,000, and that really doesn't do anything because you're continually going through just living expenses and trying to survive. And people like $250,000, like it's like hitting a lotto. What happens when your bills are $600? What happens when you have to go bankrupt? What happens when you're raising a child? What happens when you're married and you have a spouse and she is actually my caretaker? So we're not working at the time because she's trying to save me from dying. And I just thought I was the loser, man. I thought I brought this upon my family, and my daughter was 11, 12, 13. I thought I was chipping her on her life. And then I was looking at my spouse, and I was like, nobody wants to go through this. And what a loser! I felt less than, and it just, it was a shit show. And what I finally realized is there's thousands of us like that right now. I'm one of tens of thousands that are sick and dying, and the World Trade Center Health Program has been a complete nightmare, failure. And people don't understand because it's 25 years later and people are still getting sick. There are people that are still losing everything, and that's why I'm going on my tour.
Okay, and we're going to talk about the tour, Craig. So, but I want to come to Walt because I know even though you wasn't in New York, you was affected, or I don't know if you was affected. I've never asked you. So, do you remember where you were on that day?
I was Craig, I don't know if you noticed, I'm a retired DC firefighter. So it was on my first day off. I was outside, my second day off. I'm outside washing my wife's car, and she came out front and said a plane just crashed into the World Trade Center. Of course, I thought it was like a Cessna or something. I came inside, looking at the news. The second tower got hit. So then they started talking about the Pentagon. And I just went and grabbed my bag, and I was gone to work for the next 3 or 4 days, and didn't make it to the Pentagon. We backfilled the guys that were there. And when they started coming back, they had some stories, man. I mean, it looked like no one has ever, that I know personally, has ever experienced a nuclear bomb. But like what you see, it's like time just stopped. Whatever people were doing at that moment, that's what was happening. And guys were, when we talk about jokes, that's the way firefighters and police officers and first responders deal with things. The irony for me with listening to your story is, it's unfortunate because you needed volunteers because the volunteers were able to free up the first responders to do what they needed to do. You had a Tyvek suit and a mask. Somebody had to give it to you.
No, I brought it on my own. I was in construction.
But they put you on the bucket brigade. Somebody had to sign you up, do something. I mean, like I know it was chaos.
There's no sign. The first day I went there was no signing up, man. You just grabbed.
Just grabbed and go. And
I was on a bucket brigade and I ran a Bobcat.
Yeah, that's the way. I'm sorry, I had a delay. I apologize. Go ahead, Craig. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. The second day that I went was a Saturday. And then that's when everything changed. That's when I got my contractor badge at the World Trade Center.
Right.
That's when you had to go in the line and sign for everything. And it was just, and that was when the unions came in and they started running it like a business, man.
Okay. Oh, wow. So you're saying on day one, it was a free fall. Anybody who was willing to help, come help. But then day two, they maybe got things somewhat in order.
Now, I was there. So September 11th. Then the next day, and I was there the following day.
Okay.
Because it took me 2 days to get over there because everything was closed.
Right. Got you. Okay. All right. And okay. All right. So like I said, I'm trying to get a picture.
Yeah. So the second day, they kind of got organized.
I'm listening, Walt. Okay. I don't know what happened.
So the second day they got organized, right? And that's you said you got your badge. You can't hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Go ahead. We can hear you. You got a delay, bro. We can hear you. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. The second day is what he just said. They gave him his badge and his ID, and that's when it kind of things got kind of official. I get it. But it kind of got me, man, because I never heard that side of it, because I'm thinking once they kind of put you in the game, for lack of a better words, that, you know, these guys, they were there for you. Now, you told me about the $250,000, but that's nothing if you don't have insurance. If your insurance is not covering your,
I was on
injuries, and also
All right, Craig, go ahead, Craig.
I was on Medicaid for years, man. I was literally dying. So for me, trying to stay as a real estate investor, I was in bed weeks at a time, in between surgeries and procedures, and my spouse was literally looking after me, and I was dying at the time. And then they took my mid and lower lobe, my right lung out, and that devastated me even more, because I was in the worst physical pain I could possibly be in, because they cut all my nerve endings in my ribs. And for 6 years, I had this consistent pain, and people were looking at me like, "Oh yeah, you're fine," you know, and I'm just like,
wow. And let me say this: I would be remiss if I didn't talk about the elephant in the room, which we all know now that there were guys, some of them New York City first responders, police officers and firefighters, who ended up getting fired for gaming the system. After
well, that was the whole thing.
Yeah. And here you are with real injuries, and you had to go through. So I can only imagine your level of frustration, man. But you said you would do it again, so really, you know the value of your time, of what you guys did, the volunteers. And I know as a first responder, they talk about that a lot. Like, you know, without the volunteers there, man, you guys freed up a lot of other people to do their thing, man. So that, you know, hopefully, and I understand hope is not a plan, that eventually this thing will making it right. And unfortunately, a lot of people are not going to be around to see it, because a lot of people have already passed, you know, and it's been 25 years. Yeah.
More people have died. More people have died since than happened on September 11th.
But since that time, the presumptive bill has come into effect, which has been a good thing for first responders, because, you know, when we do get cancer, they just presume that it was related to, and hopefully, man, and you guys can get captured in that some kind of way. Like I said, this is way above our pay grades, but seems like you've been fighting the fight for 25 years, or what, 14 years, right?
Going on 13, 14 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been in the system since 2017, and then I did my first interview on Fox Atlanta. I think it was 2018, and then I did my interview in Time Magazine the same year. So I've been fighting this consistently for the last 8 years.
Oh wow! So Aqua, look like you got something to say. Is it a question? Go ahead.
Yeah, I actually got two things. First of all, I was amazed by the fact that you even brought up the fact that you was a volunteer. Because to be honest with you, you only ever hear about cops and firefighters.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, oh snap! There was other people other than cops, firefighters, and EMTs. Yeah. You're the first time anybody's ever brought up just regular Joes showing up. But I got two things, and you go ahead and answer however you want. First one is, you said you spent, 2 nights there?
2 days. 2 days.
Where did you sleep and who fed you?
Oh, there wasn't no sleep. I went in the morning and I came back on the boat that night. Who fed me? It looked like a mall, man. It looked like a mall. There was lines for hot dogs, hamburgers. There was a line for sneakers. There was a line it was like a mall. You got to pick and choose whatever you had. They had containers of everything on the pier. It was like going shopping. And And I actually had to get a different pair of work boots because my boots got so hot that they started molding around my feet. And I needed another pair of boots. And I got these like really crazy yellow Gore-Tex ski boots that are most amazing feeling boots ever, right? Because they were like they were ski boots, and I had gotten those, but I had burns on my feet, and it was a pretty interesting experience.
Wow.
And the second thing is, recently Jon Stewart went over there to DC to fight for legislation for the heroes. But
Jon
like I said,
Stewart and a gentleman, John Feel Good Foundation. John and John actually went over there, yeah. And there's other people involved in that.
Does that not apply to you?
It does apply. However, that being said, right, I'm a volunteer, right? So I'm fucked out of this. I'm kind of screwed in a way. But now I just heard this week that I'm going to be putting my paperwork in to get out of the World Trade Center Health Program and get into the program that is in New York City that's been taking care of responders and stuff. So right. I'm hoping my paperwork's going to get transferred.
Okay.
And this may be. I'm sorry.
No, the one thing that screws me, right, is getting primary insurance.
Right.
Because you need primary insurance because, like, the way they look at stuff, oh, yeah, you got lung cancer, your right lung. Well, I have scarring in my left. Yeah, but you don't have cancer, so you have to take care of that yourself. Okay, I'm trying to get health insurance. No, that's $1,900 a month. That's $3,900 a month with a $10,000 deductible because it's a non-ACA issue. And I'm just like, what are you talking about? And there's other responders as well. I'm certified in the World Trade Center Health Program. But the way the last couple of years has been with all the crap, I mean, you could just Google World Trade Center Health Program, and it is a complete nightmare. Anybody outside the system of New York City just deals with the most ridiculous crap. Like, I lived in Georgia, and they were making my appointments in another state. And it was like, how do you, like, come on, man. Like, come on. You got to get your shit together. And that's what frustrated me more. I was dealing more on the phone than actually going to a doctor. And I thank God I was on Medicaid in Georgia.
What in your opinion needs to be done?
They need to get rid of the system itself and start another one, and they won't do that. They just financed the system again. And it's like, if you have a system that's set up that's broken, right? How do you fix a broken system and keep it going? You don't. It's like when the earth closed, right? For 2 years. Literal earth closed for 2 years because of COVID. And then all of a sudden it came back online. Everybody, okay, everything is good. No, all the mom and pop stores got wiped out. All the corporations came in, and that's what's happening.
So it needs to be etch and sketch. This etch and sketch and start over.
Yeah, exactly, man. It needs to be shaken up, and I'm here to shake it up.
Okay. So you mentioned Craig, that you're getting ready to go on tour, or you're going on tour. So tell us about the tour. What is the tour?
So the tour.
Go ahead.
The tour actually got, it was like I had this great idea to go around the United States to 20 cities, right, and interview first responders, people that lost everything, cancer patients, war veterans for mental health, right? And I sent out thousands of emails, man. There's online, there's me copy and paste for days. And what I come to find out with all my analytics, nobody gives a shit about 9/11 outside of, like, Philly, Ohio, and go right down to the United States, in LA, in Phoenix, and nobody like 9/11 what? So I had to redo it and go to 20 cities along the Eastern Seaboard. And I just figured that out. And I set up a GoFundMe for it, and GoFundMe heard about it, and they're taking over my media. So 1% to 3% of the GoFundMes actually get that. That's what I was told. So they're on board. And I have the GoFundMe set up, and I'm looking for sponsors. I'm looking for people that actually want to gain something, like national notoriety, because we're setting up the media campaign, and we're going to be doing a social media attack, a massive social media attack. TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, and I think that's going to get more traction than actual mainstream media.
I got you. So based on hearing what you're saying, we remember and we won't forget and all that. You're saying this half of the country don't remember, and
well, even that whole concept of never forget, they forgot about us,
right?
Because they say, oh no, well the money is there, yeah, but you can't be seen, right? Because the administrative paperwork and all of that shit gets lost to the wayside, right? Or they're miscommunicating with the doctors, and you have to, at the time I was in the program, I'm in Merida, Mexico now, but when I was in the program, I used to have to find my own doctors and then have to explain to the doctor that if they wanted to get paid, they had to sign paperwork that would say, okay, instead of getting $1,000, you're only going to get $600 because it's in the World Trade Center Health Program. And it's like, I got to do all of this shit. I'm the one that's sick.
Yeah.
Shouldn't I just be going to the doctor?
Yeah.
Right.
And no, it's like it's a complete nightmare, man.
Right. Wow. And like I say, and Craig, I want to thank you for sharing your story, because it is something that I haven't heard, and it's not so much that I don't care. It's just a lot of times when things don't affect you, or if you don't know anyone that it affects, it didn't affect you, not directly, So I mean, there's still conspiracy theorists out there that say that it didn't happen. For you to say I was right there, we knew that the centers fell, we knew that the World Trade Center, we knew the buildings when they collapsed, but it didn't happen the way that we saw on video, or like you say, you got your fiance taking pictures and watching it implode and fall, and so it's just one of those things where we get fed a lot off of social media, we get fed a lot off of hearsay, this and that, and a lot of it was because of this and this, that, and some things make sense, some things don't. So hearing your story from your point of view, and even as Aqua said, the fact that, you don't hear about the volunteers, you hear about the first responders, you hear about the EMTs, you hear about, the police officers and the people that was either on the aircrafts or in the buildings at that time. But then it's all the other things that went on around it, because you keep saying the boat. So where were you at that you had to catch a boat over to that part? Because I'm not
downtown,
from New York.
Downtown Jersey City. It's right on the river.
Okay,
and,
all right.
And downtown Jersey City, yeah, it was. I can't remember the name of the marina. There's a marina right by the World Trade Center, and that's where we got shuffled back and forth from.
Okay,
and it was wild, man, because there'd be like 6 of us on the boat. And that boat was like we thought we were going to capsize, man.
Oh, so you wasn't on. See, I'm thinking when you're saying this that it's going to be like the ferry going across or whatever. We're talking this a little speedboat.
Yeah, we were on Coast Guard boat.
I got you. Okay,
yeah.
All right.
But when I was going over, I was on a barge.
Right.
And I couldn't understand why all of those buckets were on there.
Well, the thing is, and now I'll come in with my little part, because that is a crime scene. So really, every bucket that's being pulled off is part of the crime. So they got to investigate.
Yeah, but they were not investigating.
I'm just saying that is a crime scene. So we got to go and investigate. We need every piece of this and that. And we've seen the videos or the TV shows where it was a special that you see down air disaster. And they go and collect all the pieces from the aircraft, and they try to piece it all back together and say what happened and what made it go down and this and that. And that's sometimes some of the things you have to do. Sometimes your disaster, and I know Walt could probably tell us better, the disaster is way bigger than, the idea is like, hey, let's collect all the evidence. Like, you're not going to collect this. This is way too much stuff. Go ahead, Walt.
After 9/11, a lot of changes came about in public safety because we were exposed, especially communications, incident command systems. None of that was intact. Everybody was freelancing back then. So, two agencies couldn't even talk to each other. You know what I mean? You didn't have the mutual aid that you have now. So in the last 25 years or 25 years, a lot has changed as far as that. But it doesn't change the fact that what wasn't done then, and this is the part that's killing me here, Craig. That's legislation. I mean, we can make that happen as a country.
That's why I'm taking this trip. That's why I'm taking this trip.
And it's almost embarrassing that you have to do this, but this is what it is. And thank God there's people like you that's willing to do it, because most people are just going off getting sick, complaining, but not really doing it. And I'm guessing the action is probably what keeps you pushing. Just doing something about it and being active is what is kind of like keeping you going. I mean, so good.
That's my life
for
right
you,
now,
man. I mean, but it was messed up. Yeah, it's your life work. Excuse me, fellas, but it was messed up. There were a lot of things going on that were just messed up. And once they give you your badge and give you access and put you out there, there's a certain amount of responsibility that goes with that. And like you said, man, if they just need to fix it, it's like the system was set up. And my understanding is, just because we got some guys from New York too, and we did a lot of mutual aid stuff and assessments and critiques. Excuse me. And hey man, they did what they did at the moment, but they haven't, as this thing progresses, they haven't changed how they deal with it. And it's something as simple as just, okay, let's just fix it. And when you use the word, not you, but when people use the word best practices, I hate that word or that saying, that terminology, because at that point you are saying that this is as good as it gets. And as you know, it's an evolving situation, because 25 years later, I mean, this thing catches up with you, and here we are. So there's a lot, man. And until you get some politicians on board that really understand that, you're going to have a battle. You are going to have a battle, but you can't say the money's not you, but people can't say the money's not there, because we have money for everything else, right? Definitely have money for everything else. Wars.
Yeah, they just got funded again, but we weren't funded for a long time.
Mm.
And John Field and John Stewart and their team.
It's shameful, man. And hopefully, man, that you guys can get in front of Congress or something. I don't know how that works. I don't know how many or traction you have, but until people start getting embarrassed, yeah, John Stewart.
Well, that's the whole thing, man. That's the whole thing. Like, they did their job and they did it very well. They got us funded, right? However, that being said, being funded and being seen is two entirely different things, man.
Right. Because the thing is, and what I'm hearing, and I'm gonna come to
the consequences.
I'm sorry.
No. What I'm hearing, Craig, and I'm gonna come to you, Aqua, as well. So it's like you said, not being seen. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of times we just throw money at it. Here's.
I wish they would throw money at it.
Yeah, I got you. But I think so some people will say, if I was listening, you already got 250,000. So you got 250. So what else you want? So, and I'm asking you that, not so much as coming against you, but that's where a lot of people say they did throw money at it, but now you're saying that's not enough. So what
people
is
got enough? People got millions of dollars. Man.
Okay, all right.
People got paid very well, and then it was a tax-free event. So I bought a farm. I just sold my farm to come to Mexico and get treated.
That's where all the firefighters.
It's an ongoing thing.
Right, got you. Okay, all right. So Aqua, I see you had your finger up. What's going on? What you got?
Yeah, Walt kind of made me think about something about how it exposed vulnerabilities and how it changed our country. You know what I mean? That day changed our country. And then you over here, you're still fighting, you're still fighting that day. Right now, you're fighting that day. 25 years later, you're still fighting that day. And people acting like it don't exist. They forgot this, that, and the other. That must piss you off every time you go to the airport. It must piss you off every time you go to the airport. You be like, everybody's complaining about why they got to take the shoes off, why they can't have it. And you standing there like, I know exactly why we got to do all this.
See, the thing is,
good point.
I was angry for so long, right? Mm-hmm. And this was my point. I studied something called epigenetics, right? It's this thing that we have inside of us where I've alchemized all of this shit. I have no emotional attachment to this shit whatsoever. Because I had to leave the emotional attachment because I was going down and spiraling out of control mentally, right? I have post-traumatic stress disorder. I have Barrett's esophagus when my throat literally just closes. And I passed out and smacked my head a couple of times in Mexico by myself. I have GERDs, right? I have lung cancer. And I have to keep my shit together all the time. Because if I mention things and I start going off on a tangent, no, I keep my emotions in check. And this is my whole point, is because I want to show people how to do this. I want to show people how they can alchemize their life and not be better, not bitter. So when you say I go to the airport, I did. Now, I don't care, man. Yeah. I just don't. I want people to understand that they're not alone when they're going through whatever they're going through. And I think there's a huge problem with mental health in this country. And the people that are still battling cancer, what they go through, I mean, as soon as you hear cancer, you think your life is over and you're dead, right? And then you go through all the procedures and surgeries, and it's just a never-ending nightmare. And then on top of it, financially, I can't tell you how many times we sold everything again. And then sold gold, silver, all the shit that we had. And then sold furniture just to keep my ass alive. So am I pissed? I was. I got to keep everything in check as I'm going on this mission.
Yeah. Yeah, that's yeah. So now wait a minute. You said you had to learn and you want to teach. So help me. I'm almost where you are. I'm one of those people that's hearing and listening to this right now. I'm going through and didn't even realize that there was all these extra programs and things that I could have went to and got some help. I'm struggling and I'm upset. So what advice would you give me so that I could have even half of the attitude that you have to deal with this?
Stop seeking external validation. Most of us seek external validation. And this was my point that I was getting to before, right? So I was studying epigenetics after my surgery for about 2.5 years. And I went to this 9/11 exam. And this doctor came out after I had my x-ray. And a doctor came out and said, Craig, have you ever had a bad x-ray? And I was just like, oh, man, she's going to be telling me I'm going to be dead by Tuesday or whatever. And then I just stopped and I was like, you know what? Whatever she tells me is not going to wipe the smile off my face or the mood that I'm in because I'm joyous. And come to find out, she didn't even have my paperwork from 9/11. And she saw this big cloud.
Wow.
And she thought, oh, wow, this guy's screwed. No, I had my surgery 2.5 years before. So she didn't even have that paperwork. So that was the evidence that I needed. You want to know why? My interior chemistry set didn't even change, man. I didn't get that oh shit feeling. And I was like, wow, this stuff really works. And it really does. Because you have to work on the greatness that you have inside yourself. You got to tap into that God feeling. And to do that, you need to shut out all the external noise, the bullshit that clogs our head 24/7. We have something in our bodies called the reticular activating system. All it wants to do is please us. That's all it does, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. It's our subconscious programming. We have to reprogram our subconscious. And you do that by listening to Dr. Joe Dispenza, the Silver Method, tones and frequencies and tonalities, because that's what got me to who I am today. That's my message. That's my core message. is you can go through anything in this world and you can alchemize everything. Am I pissed off? Not anymore. I have no association to this shit whatsoever.
Yes. Wow. But now, and I'm not trying to be that guy, but I'm gonna have to be that guy. That doesn't change your bills. That doesn't
No,
change
it doesn't.
the fact that they are. That's right. It doesn't change the fact
But
that
what happens is, right? I've been through all the things that I've been through in my life. So when I get a bill, it doesn't stress me out.
Gotcha.
Add it to the other ones. Add it to the other ones. What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? Bleed, water from a stone? No. No, I'm in another country, man.
Yeah.
Right. No, I know, and I appreciate what you're saying, and that's why I want to make sure, like I say, when we have these shows, have these conversations, I'm definitely hearing your point of view. But I try to throw, and I know that my hosts over here, my co-hosts, they throw different things at you that they're thinking, that the other people are thinking, and that's what it is. That even in the comments at one time, someone saying, half your story is true, half of that, and it's not for me to chase that, to say what's true.
No, okay. What happens is the mind, right, makes things up.
Right.
Right. 50% of everything that we think about, right, we have to fill in. It's not that. It's did the incident happen? And your recollection is different. That's what it's all about. But did the incident happen? Right. Did I get the surgery? Did I get the procedures? Did 9/11 happen, right? So my recall is going to be something different. Because our mind works in such a wild way that it has to fill in gaps. So yes, 50% that you recall is bullshit. We have to fill it in. But did the event actually happen? That's the point.
So we kind of project a lot of our lives based on past experiences.
Based off our past experiences from zero to 8 years old, our programming, right? So from 0 to 8 years old, our programming, what does mommy and daddy do? What does aunt and uncle say? Our brothers or sisters? If mommy said you sucked at something, 40 years old, you're going to run into an obstacle and you're going to recall that. See, our brain doesn't know the difference in time, right? So I could recall somebody. This is what I do in coaching. I recall certain things in people's lives, and that'll change their biochemistry set. And I do that as a point, because as if I can have you recall something and put yourself energetically in that state, and your biochemistry set changes, then you can change your biochemistry set.
So it's sort of the cousin of stoicism.
Yeah, so stoicism has its issues because you're internalizing everything, right? So you're holding it in. But we're talking about
no. I'm saying, okay, so we always think stoicism means we don't care, but if you read, as I read books on stoicism, I found out that it's not like you don't care or you're indifferent. It's like you allow it all to come through.
Everything passes through us. Everything passes through us.
Yeah, everything passes through. So that emotion, even if you get, like you said, you get mad, it's not that you don't get mad, but your actions are what dictate, your mindset is what dictates how you act on your anger. So you can use that to your advantage and do something about it, which you are doing, or you can have a woe is me mentality. And that's why I like the when you read the Stoics and you think about terms like amor fati, my fate is my fate, things like that, you just kind of it helps you get through, because no matter who you are, everything we've been through or gone through, we've been through, because we're still here. You're still here, right? So some 100%. People have been through more. You've been through more than the average person, but it's all relative, because you have prepared yourself, or your creator, your mindset, your maker, however you want to look at it, has prepared you to deal with that. And the average person, somebody messed up their order at the McDonald's and it, and
they lose it. They flip out.
They lose it, man. Yeah. But everybody has a breaking point, man. Everybody has a breaking point, and we all hope that we don't find it, because
I found it. Yeah, I found it a bunch of times, man.
Well, but luckily you're still here to talk about it, because you didn't do something that was so adverse to your future that you would not that wouldn't allow you to be here, helping others.
I have this beautiful daughter that watches everything I say and do, and as long as I'm still breathing, I have to keep my emotions in check.
There you go.
And sometimes I have to have those recalls for myself to just understand
that's a beautiful thing.
She's still watching, man.
Yeah.
That's a beautiful thing, and the fact that you are aware of that, self-aware enough to know that, that's a beautiful thing. That is a beautiful thing.
All right, Aqua, I see you got something. Go ahead, sir.
No, I'm over here listening to him, and I cannot comprehend any of that because I'm actually on, like, I'm all happy-go-lucky, giggles and all that, but a lot of people don't know I'm on bupropion because it's like a mood enhancer because I stew. I stew. Like, somebody will say something to me a week later, I'll be like, that dude told me, excuse me. Like, a whole week later, I'm still stewing. And I've been that way my whole life. So listening to you, I'm like, I don't understand a word he's saying because I just keep that locked up inside of me and just let it burn. That's just my whole life. I've been like that.
So what I do, right, is I have people recall, like, what event in your life from 0 to 8 years old makes you stew at whatever age you're at?
Brooklyn.
Okay. So in Brooklyn, 20, 30 years ago, events happened where you're still holding on to that.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
But that's what it is. That's what it is. And it's like I had to get off morphine, Dilaudid, Percocet, Oxy. At one point, I was on 2,400 milligrams of gabapentin, right? And these were things where my girls were like, "You're a shitty person on these things. You're angry and you're miserable." And I had to go back to when I was a drug addict in my teens to be like, "Oh yeah, I remember detoxing in a basement apartment in Cliffside Park while my neighbor in my next room was smoking crack." So I had to tap into that. I had to tap into when I was molested as a kid and the pain and misery that I went through with that until my mom gave me a pain pill one time when I blew out my knee. And I realized that, hey, you know what? That physical pain went away and so did the mental pain. And that's something that, the girls are telling me I'm a crappy person on these drugs. I got to get rid of it. And that's when I started studying epigenetics. That was the true reason why. Was because I was on all of these drugs. I was like a zombie, man. And I just couldn't do it.
Wow. I mean, I know we, of course, and I want to thank everybody who's watching the Iron Sharpening Iron Show. And I want to thank you, Craig, for coming out here and sharing your story because of the fact that we went all kinds of different directions and angles and 100%, I know without a doubt that we haven't even scratched not even scratch the surface on all the things that could be going on. So when are you going to start your tour, and how can we get in contact with you if we want you as a coach? And I already dropped in the chat how we can help Craig out with his GoFundMe so he can go on tour. So when does the tour start, and how can we reach out to you?
It's going to be 25 days before 9/11. I'm going to start. And I got a buddy of mine, hopefully, if we're funded, I can get him over from Ireland. He's a documentarist. And we're going to make a documentary. And Walt, I was just going to ask you if you would mind being interviewed by us if we came.
Oh, yeah, sure. But I can get you some guys who were in the action.
Oh, man.
Like I said.
I would appreciate that because that's where we're looking for real stories, man.
Yeah. Because, I can get you some. Yeah, man. I would be. Yeah, I feel like, man, I wouldn't be qualified to speak on it. I mean, when I can get you guys who have real life stories. Like I said, I was on my day off, my second day off. I went in and backfilled. I mean, I know what those guys have been through, but I can get. I've been retired 13 years, but I can definitely still get you guys who are still dealing with those things for sure. That's not an issue at all.
I greatly appreciate it.
Yeah. And then, like I say, we'll definitely put the word out. And if there's someone watching now, and if you're watching the show and you are a person who have survived or still going through, or you know this story firsthand that Craig is talking about, then and you want to reach out, you can definitely reach out to me at bigjackstorytimeguest@gmail.com. Or I know we put your email down there, Craig, and hopefully they can reach out to you and y'all can make contact as you're going on your tour. Because the thing is, now that I'm hearing the story, I'm invested. I'm vested in the story. I want to say, hey, how is this thing going? So we want you to maybe come back on the show, and not even maybe come back on the show and give us updates on how things are going. Because
I'd love that.
Because we want to help you get the word out and help you, take us on the journey. Let us know. And if there's anything else other than sharing the information to get you the help that you need, like Walt said, he can get you some contacts. We're here. We want to help you as much as we can, for sure.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. But I do want to thank you for being a guest on the Iron Sharpening Iron Show. I want to thank you for sharing your story. I know it takes a lot to go down that lane and let other people know, but it's important that this word gets out, and hopefully that someone else is listening and now encouraged that they can not only go through trauma and go through situations, but they can come out on top. They don't have to let it tear them down. They can come out on top. And it looks like you are, even though you're still dealing with it, it looks like you have learned a way to conquer it. And I appreciate that for sure.
Thank you.
Yeah. So, Walt Talks, Alka Funk, I want to thank you for tuning in with me, man, and hanging out with me. I'm going to ask you to hang back just a little bit, all three of you, and as we close this show out, we want to thank everybody who tuned in today for the Iron Sharpening Iron Show. Thank you for tuning in and watching us. We ask you to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and continue to follow us for other shows, other episodes, as we continue to grow and glow together, because we are stronger together. That's one thing for sure. And with that being said, we're going to say have a good night, and we'll talk to you later. Craig, say back, all of you. Thank you.